It's a real pleasure to be with you today in these surroundings. This beautiful forest also encompasses some horses. At the end of the conference, you will get a video about 10 minutes with horses. Stay tuned for the surprise. Anyway, I repeat, it's a real pleasure. We have here the beauty and serenity of the Eastern Townships in Quebec. For those of you not familiar with the Eastern Townships in Quebec, it's located near the New Brunswick frontier and the northeastern part of the U.S., Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire. Close, I'd say the closest would be New Hampshire. What's my mission today? My mission today is to help you release tensions and emotions, and specifically enjoy the present moment. I will invite you to take a deep breath. Just sit down, stop whatever you're doing. Let's stay together for a little while. Keep breathing deeply, even if you're not in the same surroundings. Who am I? My name is Lise Pratte. I was born in Quebec in the 1950s on an island which was called at that time Jesus Island. So that tells you about religion. We'll see later what the impact was, okay? Now it's called Laval. It's an island north of Montreal, and like most of you know, Montreal is also an island. I had a few careers. I was a business lawyer. I've been also a coach. I was a teacher for a number of years for entrepreneurs. That's my basic. That's what I've done most of my life. Actually, I mentored or coached about 500 startups in Quebec and elsewhere. How come today I'm with the forest talking about horses? What brought me to that? Strange, you'd say. Okay. My personal life was as crazy and busy as my professional life. But my personal life was hidden. Why was it hidden? Well, because I've lived through a lot of violence. Okay, talking about violence is not easy. So, what I decided to do a few years ago, I decided to write a book about my story, my personal story, because violence was a secret in my family from the start. So I wrote a book, and I wrote it about psychological violence, because to me, any violence starts on the psychological level. It's a question of control. It's a question of being the master of everything. So why was it secret? I'll tell you a little bit of my family from the beginning. My mother was a 14th child of a big family in a poor surroundings in the center of Quebec. But she was so talented that she was sent to a convent with nuns in Hull so that she would become either a teacher or a nun. At that time, it was very well known that anybody that had a priest or a nun in the family was, I'd say well regarded by religion and political, okay? So that's the story of my mom. She never wanted kids. She said that all her life. But religion was very strong, and she had 5 of them. I was the oldest. Tell you about violence after that. What about my father? Well, my father was a good guy, but he was also from a poor family. So, do you imagine the atmosphere? Very rough. He wants a boy. She doesn't want any children. So strike 1, strike 2. But I'm stubborn. So I came out with this kind of rage to live. Not a desire to live, a rage. Against all odds. Tell you a little later about my life. But the atmosphere was really violent. I could not do anything wrong. Or there was physical consequences. And for them, it was normal, because in their original families, that's how it worked. And my father would say, well, a child is like a horse. You have to beat them. You have to get them strong by training them and force them to do things. So, yes, it was rough. I could not do anything wrong. The first thing I did wrong, I got physical abuse. He would beat me. That was it. He would say, you have to train a kid like you train a horse. So I was trained to be a good girl. But what happens when a good girl gets abused at 3 years old by an uncle, can't say a word, is also abused at 15 by an older man? You can't do anything. You can't say anything. The word was silence and secret. So, what's the title of my book? It's From Toxic to Tonic. Freedom behind doors. What's going on behind doors? All sorts of doors. All sorts of activities, and violence is always hidden. So how do you escape? Or how did I escape? Well, I escaped with alcohol. I was my father's partner for beer at 12 years old. Except that I have a problem with alcohol. I have Indian blood in me, and I can't support alcohol. So I was sick, but I was keeping the drinking because I had a partner. I used to go to Blue Bonnets for horse racing. I knew the programs. I was 10 years old. Not a natural life for a little girl, but that's how it was. And in my mind, I was part of the man's world. Actually, when I went into business, I went into men's world. That's what I did. And I showed them that I could do as a man. But, you know, all this got me into trouble a lot of times. I was also attacked when I was 18, went to the hospital by a group of men. Luckily, I yelled so loud that they got me out of there. But I went through the system, the legal system, and I looked at how it was and how women were treated. And I felt so bad. I wanted to change things. And that's why later on, I decided to become a lawyer. I didn't want this system, either for women or, abused children. And I've always worked very hard with groups to change some laws. I still do. And what was it when I got my relationship, my love relationship? Well, it didn't get quite better. The first one was very nice. I was 18. He was 25, 26. He had a life before me, and I had no clue. I had no clue whatsoever. It was part mafia, part, but the silence, again, the silence, the secret. But I was used to that. But the family had money. So they said, what do you want to do? Well, I said, I don't want to work weekends, but I want to go back to university. You're never going to make it, okay? I'll show you. That's how I became a lawyer. But unfortunately, after a few years, my first husband became cocaine and heroin addict. So the doctor got me out of there. And I had a divorce for mental cruelty. So that's part of the story. And to me, it's like, okay, I felt I could go through that and I could be resilient. And my name is really Resilience, I can tell you that. But you know what? The positive escape for me was studying. I love university. I love learning. So I still do. I've been through all the courses I could take. And even when I went into therapy, because I had numerous therapy, but I would go through therapy and I would become a therapist. Everything I would do. I did Reiki, for those who know what Reiki courses are, and I became a master Reiki. I did other kinds of therapies and I became a psychotherapist. Did I act as a psychotherapist? I used it for my coaching and my mentoring, that's for sure. But I had other relationships, and finally, at the end of the fourth one, I left and I said, okay, that's it. I have to get out of this pattern. I really have to get out of this pattern. So that's why I'm talking about therapy with horses. Some people will say, what are you talking about? Therapy with horses? Get a dog, get a cat, like domestic. No. Therapy with horses, why? Because there are lots of therapies around there, but horses have a very particular presence with humans. Okay, let's go into this. Why? Horses have served humans for centuries, millenniums, I don't know. They've always been there. For men to be fighting, for men to be traveling, for men to, and women I'd say, and bringing material, they've always been next to the man and the woman. But they were used, and a lot of them abused. And they were also used for circus, for pleasure, polo, whatever. Always serving humans. Never forget that. But how do we treat the horses? We didn't treat them right, because we did not understand how horses are powerful. Okay. Yes, people would say, oh, you get another animal. Yes, you have therapy with other animals, dogs, cats, whatever. Most of them, it's to counter solitude, to get affection. But there's a word. It's dependency. They become dependent upon you, and you are dependent of their presence. with the horse, it can be different. Why? What's the difference? The horse is a prey. Imagine you are the prey. You're in the woods and you're a prey. What is your main concern? The environment. You have your ears open, every sense is open to what's going on. A horse which has not been, we call it humanized, when he's free, I'm not talking about wild, okay? I'm just talking about free in a space to be what he is, a horse. He is in contact with his environment, every aspect of his environment. You come in, you become part of the environment. Now, his strength is in feeling what you are feeling. Some people say, come on, yeah. I've got one very good example. Because I've tried many centers, many methods with horses. I've seen them operate. One day, I brought a friend, okay, to a center like that. And both of us, in our personal life, it was turmoil. We were anger. The anger was, inside. But outside, for people who didn't know us, they thought we were very funny, and we had a clown face. Both of us, one after the other, we had a horse, a different horse. You know what the horse did? It would kick around, call its friend, shit on the ground, roll over each of the horses. What was he carrying? He was carrying our anger. Now, he has to release the anger. He cannot keep it. But you can't fool him. You can fool yourself. And you can put it in your backpack, and then the backpack will be so heavy you're going to fall down. That's what we do. We're very good at hiding and putting it in the back. No, you can't do that with the horse. Now, it could be unconscious, okay? No conscious about what you're really going through. At that point, we were conscious of what we were, but we didn't want to show it. So everybody showed it. The horse showed it. Now, what happens if you're conscious about it? Are you ready to release it? Oh, that's the question. When you are ready to release it, and consciously you know what has to be released, it will release it for you. Personally, I've gone through this. I talked a little earlier about the rage that I had for living. The day they released the rage, I can still remember, it's vivid in my mind, 6 out of 9 horses rolling all over the place. And I'm crying my life out and saying thank you. Because I could feel it going. Just getting out of my system. I couldn't live with that anymore. I wrote it down. It's in the book too. And you know what? It does not come back. No, some people will say, come on, it's another layer of onions. No. The horse has that power to get it out. What happens after? We'll talk about my new life another time. Okay. Oh, I had another example, yeah. A lady that came in one of the centers, and she was afraid of horses, like she would not approach. But she told us she had fallen from a horse when she was young. She had her own horse, and the horse threw her down. She did not approach, for 40 years, she did not approach a horse. She was so afraid she was shaking all over. She finally got into the pen with the horse. That horse normally has a lot of character. That time, the horse was gentle, really gentle. He approached really slowly. After this exercise was about 15 minutes. She got out of that and she said, "It's gone. My fear is gone." And we had another exercise after, and she was with the same horse, and he was just next to her. That's it. I've seen it so many times. But she was conscious, so it's gone. Very big difference. Okay. Now, why do we use horses? What is I'd say one of the best therapy with horses, with examples, it's with Army veterans. Why? Because they suffered PTSD numerous times. Just imagine the life of a vet when he's in the Army, he or she, okay? And we know for sure, most of them they have therapies and therapies and therapy over therapies, okay? There are scientific research on that. When they get into a connection with horses, these emotions, these negative, whatever, tensions are released by the horses. A lot of them can then get a new life, study, get a new career without carrying all this trauma and without all those medication and pills and whatever they have to take for a number of years. This is why my own experience with PTSD from violence, that's what I used, and that's what I discovered with the horses, that it could be released. Now, and this is what I'm going to be talking until I die. If I can help some people with this method, I'll bring people to the horses, and I can even do it in Zoom by channeling. Ha ha, that's another issue. Yeah, because now I feel in peace, and I can use it differently for those people who are not next to me. I want to propose to you a meditation. So if you want, I'll sit down and we can do a little meditation for a few minutes. Okay, I invite you to close your eyes, sit down, put your feet on the ground. Close your eyes, make sure you're comfortable. No phone, no noise except nature if you're in nature. And just breathe in, breathe out deeply. Now just get yourself into a comfortable place. It could be imagined, it could be real. So that you feel really comfortable. When you're comfortable in this space that you've chosen, in the calm and serenity of this place, I invite you to deposit on the ground something that has been bothering you for a long time. Consciously put it there. Just deposit. Could be an emotion, it could be a tension, it could be whatever. Then look up. There's a door. Open that door slowly. Behind that door, there's a message for you. It could be someone. It could be an image. It could be one word. But there's a message for you. Don't judge, please. Just take that message. If it's written or something, you can take in your hands. If you heard the message, just get it close to your heart. Someone or something is trying to help you to release what you've deposited. Don't judge it. Don't judge it. Just come back. You can come back slowly, holding your message, or still hearing the message, keeping the image, and just slowly come back. Deep breathing again. Say thank you. And just come back. Slowly. With the deep breathing. Open your eyes. And I invite you to write down what happened. Write down the message. Either written, heard, whatever. Or it was an animal. Could be. Just keep this, say thank you. Thank you very much. And you can see the video at the end of the conference. Thank you.
Ouais, il va falloir que tu te rapproches d'elle.
Ah, c'est proche, hein?
Ouais.
C'est ça.
Puis là, viens-t'en, quand t'es prête.
Au galop!
Plus fort. Allez.
Au galop!
Allez, allez, là. Viens-t'en. Suis-la. On la suit. Viens-t'en, Lise. On demande à trop.
Au trop.
Super. Là, si tu veux le pas. Ouais, ça peut marcher. Pas de langue de pas.
Le pas.
On va circuler. On a la réponse pour nous. Parce qu'il y a eu une très bonne réponse. Fait que on va déposer le bâton. Viens ici, Lise. Dépose ton bâton là. Excellent. Puis on va attendre. On va regarder si le cheval nous fait des révérences. Ça doit baisser son col. On va taper des pieds sur le front. On va revenir par ici.
Ben non, c'est ça. Je voulais juste te dire, c'est juste parce que...
Oui. Lise l'a fait en 5 minutes. Hein?
Ça fait pas ton avis.
C'est nature.
Ouais. Ah, tu veux voir,
Tu veux voir la caméra?
Tu veux voir la caméra, finalement?